Good morning, everybody. It's Debbie with the Pickin Coop Farmstead. I am out in my garden this morning. I didn't do anything out here yesterday because by the time I turned off the sprinklers, everything was super wet, so I couldn't do any planting or anything. So today, that is my goal, is to get some more things planted. So come along. All right, so one of the first things I'm going to do before I get started is I want to put up a trellis because, as you can see, my peas are starting to get quite tall. So let me grab a couple poles. And I'm going to put one in between the two rows. And you have to be careful because you got to remember that we've got hardware wire in the bottom of this. I'm going to put this behind my sign over here. And my soil's pretty wet, so I'm going to push these down until I feel resistance. Right about there. So now they're nice and sturdy. So that way I can put my chicken wire this way. And then I have two rows over there. So we're going to put a couple of poles between that. Okay, I'm trying to find the shortest ones. Is what was taking me so long. So then, whoops, I'm going to put this pole right in the middle. Actually, I don't even think I need a hammer just because the dirt is so wet. There we go. So now I've got two poles, and then the wire, I'm going to get this weed out of here. The wire can go down the middle of each row, and then that will give it something to grow up on. So now, I think I'm going to take this out just because I took all this squash out and I don't need this in here. So I'm going to do some cleanup and maintenance today too. So come along. All right, so right here, I just cleared out a space between the parsnips. I don't have a heart to reseed these. I don't believe they're going to come up. I need to do a little more research on that. But right next to it, in front of my pea bed, here's my peas down here. I'm going to plant some radishes. I've got 4 types of radish. I'm going to plant, so far what I've grown that I like the most from M.I. Gardner are these white hailstone radishes. They're delicious. So we're going to put some of those in. And radishes, again, the seeds are really small. So you barely have to put them in. So I'm just going to kind of make a light little trench. Give them enough room for each radish to grow. There's one row. There we are. We're going to put I'll just put hail radish. And then you just barely cover these up. Okay, so we got one row. Next, I think we're going to do these Burpee Ford Hook heirlooms. It's called sparkler radish. And they're white on the bottom and red on the top. So I'm trying to think how many rows I'm going to put in here. So just make a slight little trench for these guys. And you get the idea. So I'm going to do breakfast radish next. And then I think that's probably all I'm going to put in this area. I've got some others. They're these little M.I. Gardner breakfast. That's going next for sure. But I don't think I have room. I'm going to, these are called Early Scarlet Globe. And those are good too. I always plant those. So I think maybe my second round of radishes, I'll put the others in. So we'll go ahead and do the sparkler. And like I said before, if you accidentally get 2 or 3 seeds in one section, don't worry about it. It's okay. You can just kind of thin them out. Okay, so put these back in there. All right, so that's that one. And we're gonna put sparkler. We'll just put Spark Rad. You like my abbreviations? All right, so our little name tag's gonna go in the back of that row and gently, oops, cover that one up. All right, one more row. I think this will be just about perfect for this area. I don't want to get them too close to these poles here. So well, these aren't actually breakfast. They're called China Rose, but breakfast radishes look a lot like these. So I forgot they were out of them. That's the closest we could get, so that's exactly what we're going to plant. Okay, China Rose are done. All right, I'm going to mark this, and then we're going to move on to the next thing. Now, I want to show you a little trick that I do. I keep what I'm planting in this little tub, and I've got all my seeds that I want to plant. But the things that I have planted, I put off to the side because after I get back to the house, the things I'm going to plant are in the front. Things I've already planted today are off to the side. That tells me that I need to add these to my journal of when. I like to put the date when I planted them. That way they look. What are you doing, Johnny? You better stay out of there. Get out of there. If it was too late, too early, or just right. So I'll know what to do next year. All right, I think the next area, these are all my rutabagas. And luckily, between Johnny and Stitchy, they did not destroy my little baby seedlings that have emerged. So I think right in here, I don't want to get too close to the rutabagas, I am going to plant some carrots. You gotta want to do a second wave of carrots. Like I said, I'm not really good at the carrot situation yet. Those are another thing that barely, you don't even really cover them. All right, so there's that. Okay, so I have, what did I say, 3 or 4 varieties of carrots. So let's get those. There's 1, 2, 3. I've got 3. I've got my Royal Châtenay from M.I. Gardner. I've got Siskiyou Seeds, the Oxheart carrots. Then I've got Redwood Seeds, which is a local company, the Denver carrots. So let's plant those little fellas. Stitchy, you better stay out of my beds. I'm telling you, those guys are just... batting 1,000 on that. I'm just barely trench. Just sprinkle your seeds. I'm not being very careful spacing these. Cover them up just barely. All right. So we're going to put our little sign. Dan carrots. Ooh, there's a little spider in there. Come on, little fella, get out of there. Go on, get over there. All right, then we're going to put another row right next to that one. These are going to be the Royal Châtenay. Again, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right or not. And they're just going to sprinkle. These rows are kind of heavy, which is probably a good thing. I got my faithful mascots over here. Let's see, I don't know if you can see them. There they are. As long as they stay out of my beds. All right, so we got to make a sign for these. Just say Royal. There we go. And we're going to do one more row. Seems like I'm planting a lot of carrots, but with my luck in carrots, or lack of luck with carrots, I think that's a good thing. Okay, here comes the Siskiyou Seed Company Oxheart carrots. I wish I would have bought more of their seeds. I just kind of went crazy on them. That was my biggest purchase, I think, when I went to the Modern Homesteading Conference. It was seeds. It's just funny. It's funny how you change your priorities as you get older, and what's important to you and what's not. And once my kids were, I'm ashamed to admit this, but once my kids were old enough and moved out, and I became single, I went through a divorce, and I was working, making really good money, had a wonderful job, and I was buying all the shoes, purses, nice clothes, all that kind of stuff. And now I don't even care. I shop for my clothes at the thrift store. The hubby got me a beautiful handbag and matching wallet. I told him he did that for my birthday here recently, and I told him, I said, you know how long it's been since I've had a matching matching purse and wallet? It's been a long time. But I traded all that for this and canning, and I would not trade that, as they say, for love or money. It's just been a blessing. I've totally changed my priorities. I'm like, I would rather spend my money on canning jars, canning lids, and that type of stuff. I just love it. I'm an easy keeper these days. All right, so we've got a second wave of carrots done. Now let's see if we can find a spot for some lettuce. A darn cat just jumped through my carrot rows. I'm telling you, I'm going to start leaving them in the house. I hate doing that, but geez. All right, so I have from M.I. Gardener some black seeded Simpson. Again from M.I. Gardener, I've got this prize head leaf. And then I've got, that I bought from the Heirlooms Evermore, I bought the Marvel of 4 Seasons. So, I don't know how many rows I can get in here. Getting attacked by flowers over here. So, let's kind of move this a little bit. Alright, let's do the Marvel of 4 Seasons first. And I don't want to plant too much at one time, because you can only eat so much lettuce. And then what we'll do is we'll plant a second wave. So I'm going to start, I don't know if you can see this. We'll start right back here. And we'll just do a shallow trench of this one. Let's see, I've got my wonderful tape on here. Let's see if I can get them out without taking it all off. Alright, we've got the Marvel of 4 Seasons. Come on, little fellas. Ooh, I got a lot of them out. These are kind of a dark lettuce seed. Okay. Put all those back. And then let's write down these. We'll just put Marvel. Barely. Cover these little fellas up. And we'll put a little stake at the beginning of the row. And we're going to make a third row, or second row, excuse me. Can't count this morning. And we will put, let's do the Prize Head Leaf Lettuce by M.I. Gardener. I'm telling you, those guys over there, M.I. Gardener, very, very affordable seeds. Germination rate is absolutely amazing. And the selection of stuff they have is really, really good. And then they even run, as if their seeds weren't already inexpensive, they run these wonderful sales. And then you get them even less expensive, which is absolutely marvelous. I don't even know how they can afford to sell them that cheap, but they do, and they're wonderful quality seeds. All right, so we're going to write down, these ones are prize head, so we'll just say prize. Lettuce. And I know you're not going to want to hear this, but these little guys, these little tags, I ordered stuff from Temu because my daughter was trying to win something. And so I did. I placed an order and I bought some, of course, cooking supplies. That's basically all I bought. And then they had these as a free item. And they are pretty good so far. I used them in my spring planting, and they have done really well because I used a sprinkler this whole year, which I never ever do. And so yeah, I'm pretty impressed with that. Okay, here's my third row. And these guys are the black seeded Simpson lettuce from MI Gardener, which these were delicious. I grew all of these this spring, and I let them all go to seed. And I was hoping I was going to be able to tell them apart, but I don't think so. Well, I grew the freckled lettuce. That's not in here. I think I might have used all those seeds. But I saved seeds from that. Now, which ones they are, that's another story. All right, this is our last row of lettuce. You guys are probably getting bored. Oh, shoot, I've got a bunch out there. Now, these are very dark, too, so that's where you get the black seeded, the name from. I'm trying not to get a whole bunch of these in one row. And at least with lettuce, if you get a whole bunch of seedlings coming up, once they start leafing out with their true leaves, you can eat those almost like a microgreen kind of a thing. Just baby lettuces make a lovely little salad. Okay, so I'm going to put the name tag on this one, then we'll move on. Okay, I cleared a little area right here, right in the back of my lettuce is going that way. But right here, I think I found a little area where I'm going to put garlic. I'm going to put 1, 2, 3, trying to space them out. We're doing the zigzag method again. Like I always say, you can never ever have too much garlic. I cook with garlic like crazy. All right, let's see what we got here. So you always put the pointy end up. Let's put one in there. And try to use your biggest cloves. And garlic are heavy feeders, and I was going to look up at, can't remember if it's like nitrogen. I want to say it's nitrogen. Oh, goodness. My knees are giving out here. Or potassium. I got to look that up. And I did not know that the last couple of years. And these are just store-bought garlic. There's a small one. I buy big netted bags of garlic just because I cook with it so much. let's see, I just need 2 more, so I think I'm going to use these little guys. All right, so there we go. We'll cover all these up. There we go. Now we'll have another nice little bed of garlic. So you could say that we successfully sowed this garlic just because we planted the others, what, a week or two? I want to say 2 weeks ago. And I'd like to plant another space about like this size. Okay, I'm going to put a stick in there, name tag, and we're done with that one. All right, I found a little spot right here in between my tomatoes. Since I've really trimmed them back a lot, I want to plant some spinach. This is also from M.I. Gardener. This is called Giant Noble Spinach. And spinach is one of the things I haven't been very successful at. I think their seeds are pretty small, 1/2 inch deep, full sun, partial sun, cold tolerant. You can plant in spring and fall. So we're going to put these, it says plant spacing 4 to 6 inches apart. So the plants get pretty tall. So once they emerge, it says 45 days. So we're going to plant this. Might be kind of late to be planting this, but we're going to give it a try. So we're just going to do 2 shallow trenches. Oh, I see some little wormies. That's a good sign. Oh, spinach, these are pretty large seeds compared to a lot of cruciferous. All right, so we're going to try not to put these too close together. As soon as I say that, of course, we get 2 in 1 hole. I am getting better at my fall garden, I have to admit. It was a complete failure when I first started doing this, especially up here because it gets so cold. You definitely don't have to worry about things bolting and going to seed up here. Johnny Martin, I hope you are not going to get in one of my beds. I really hope that. All right, so let's put a marker in. And I think I forgot to bring my peas out because I wanted to plant some peas on my trellis over there. And I forgot to put the peas in here. But that's okay. Tomorrow's another day, right, guys? Or tomorrow's actually Thursday, and it's my town day. All right, I'm putting giant spinach. Okay. So we got quite a bit of stuff planted today, so I'm really impressed with that. All right, so I am going to water all this stuff in. I'm going to make an executive decision. I'm going to show this to you right now. I asked some questions on my gardening groups on Facebook because I'm let my my broccoli go to seed. Well, I do believe that they are getting pods. Let me show you what I've got. Aphids, hold on. I still have my Brussels sprouts growing on there. This is terrible. There we go. So I don't know. They're pretty hard. I'm just going to keep it going. I don't know what else to do with the Brussels sprout. Oh, it looks like the bugs are starting to attack that too. Look at all this. Yep, aphids in there too. I might just take this whole bed, take everything out, and just plaster it with diatomaceous earth, because this is just absolutely awful. Look at them all. Okay, that's all I have for you today. So we got a lot of stuff planted today. I think I'm going to come out later and I'm just going to cut those aphid infested, just cut everything out of that bed and just plaster it with diatomaceous earth. Because if there's nothing in the beds, then the bees won't go in there, so I don't have to worry about killing them. So I hope the sun is shining where you are today. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Please continue to pray for all the people that have been affected by Hurricane Helena. There's a lot of people displaced, a lot of people that have lost loved ones, their whole livelihoods. So please pray for them. God bless, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye.